Hello everyone, good day to you all ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure to stand here right before you to deliver my speech. My name is Meira, I stand here as the Prime Minister, and before we begin, I just want to say thank you to you all audiences, judges and also others for allowing me to state my statements. So, before we begin, today's topic of the debate is the House would believe that as a feminist movement, this house would encourage women to be selfish. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in the Big 25, we must have heard before that the word feminist. Maybe somewhere, and usually it was being heard in America, some nation in the West. And especially me as a woman myself have encountered certain situations where the name feminists are being shouted out loud. Women have went through a lot of hardship and distress, even in the early years. Oh, not to mention the dark past this gender has went through before. There are multiple instances that helps women to protect them, to feel safe around with, and also sometimes to solve with. They win a lot of problems, for the example, when applying jobs to study, and some are forced to marry and bear a child. Feminist movement encourage women to run and stand equally in society, especially stand equal beside men. It encourages women to study, fight for themselves, and breaking the unwritten rule in the past. So, what's a feminist movement look like or sound like? Feminist movement revolves around various social and political rights for women, patriarchy, justice, and the most shouted one, equality for all. We also define feminist movement with adding some law reinforcement about underage marriage, sexual assault, domestic violence, and the right of abortion that has been banned in some states in America or in the US. There's many things to address in this issue because feminist movement is also about erasing social norms like women should taking care of the house and stay in the kitchen and not to work like how men. When one tries to break the unwritten rules about women, this feminist movement also requires women to support another woman. So when one woman tries to break the norm or unwritten rules about women, other women shouldn't actually judge. But many cases, women also attacks another woman for doing that. That's why feminist movement is required and could also unite women. Other definition I want to say is encouraging women to be selfish. So, what do I say about regarding this? Well, sometimes we have to be selfish if we clearly deserve something that was supposed to be ours. It's not entirely a selfish for a bad thing. Some cases like you should be selfish when you are starving. For the example, you have a bread. As you are eating it, someone wants a half of it. You have a bread. Then you are really starving. You want to fill your stomach, but a half of bread wouldn't fill your stomach. So in order for you to have an energy to be full, you should be selfish. Do not share them your bread as it's for the best for you and for your health. And of course, if you're not that hungry, you would have spared them some bread. But again, some cases requires you to be selfish. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judge and wonderful audiences, as we all know, there's nothing wrong with supporting women's equality in society because again, we all know they suffered enough already. So we encourage women to be more selfish as long as it's for the good of their mental health and also their health physique. In the past, women used to be repressed. succumb at men's choice. They used to get disadvantaged and often scared to make a move for their own good without even being judged. So again, the term selfish is to encourage women to be braver and not to back down. So, of course, we support this action. Why encouraging women to be selfish is a part of supporting feminist movement, you say? Sometimes women are too subtle, too gentle, too scared. They even had a whole ethical lesson in the past not to raise voice, not to speak their opinion or disagreement out loud. They often get selfless at themselves, which is a bad thing for their mental state and health. They often feel stressed and repressed, and a selfish attitude is to lift them and encourage them to be more selfish at themselves. That's why selfish attitude connects with the feminist movement as to encourage women to care and speak up for themselves. It's not about justifying the word selfish, as every human deserves to be heard. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me rewind my whole important point. First, the term selfish doesn't mean that it requires a woman to be selfish at anything and every time. Its purpose is to encourage women to not be selfless at themselves. Second, I agree that it's wrong to be selfish, but this doesn't mean that you should be unselfish all the time. Just think of it as the starting point or a turning point. And last, women should be seen the same level as men. Sometimes men are also selfish, yes, because we are human. Selfish is a natural thing that we all usually do, but it's for the good and for the better. Same thing with women, they could be selfish for the better and for themselves. And I think that's a wrap from me. Thank you for the attention and peace.